Joe said it was his team.
No comment, man. Joe always thinks that has something to do with him. That's your guy. Look at him over there. Something's wrong with him.
Good night.
Yep.
Is he obviously still a vocal guy when he's on the bench like that?
Joe don't ever shut up, but I think it's for the better. We need that when he's on the floor, when he's not on the floor. He's our leader, and he's emotional whether he's in New Jersey or he's on the sideline. It's not a suit on the sideline enclosed.
Showing an effect on the way that you play the game.
Who?
Joking.
Yeah, I mean, Joe makes everybody want to play harder and, dive on the floor, take a charge, because when you see how emotional he is, you know that he's really into the game. And, you want to go to war, you want to battle with a guy like Joe.
Celtics fall 119-103 to the Chicago Bulls in their big three. This is the Garden Report, powered by lynda.com on CLNS Radio and Celtics blog. My name is Sherrod Weiss. With me, as always, Jimmy Toscano from CSNNE, Metro, and of course Celtics blog, and Julian Edlow from CLNS Radio and WEI.com. We are going to break down the Celtics in a competitive game that, of course, because it's the Celtics, didn't end competitively. So the Bulls have a new big three, and it is very, very impressive. A little bit of young, a little bit of younger, and a little bit of old in Pau Gasol, but boy, oh boy, were they good tonight. And we saw Gasol was solid throughout the game, Rose was pretty solid throughout the game, and Jimmy Butler absolutely lit the world on fire in the second half there.
We're talking about their big three. They didn't even have their fourth guy, Joakim Noah, who still found his way into the box score with a technical, by the way. But yeah, I mean, how can you not be impressed with this Bulls team? I know they haven't been playing great. They've actually been playing pretty bad. They've lost 2 to one of their Eastern Conference rivals, the Wizards, and they dropped a terrible game to the Magic at home. So they came into this game absolutely needing a win. And honestly, I didn't think they came up pretty good. Didn't think they came out good at all. Excuse me. Thibodeau wasn't that upset with their performance in the first half after the game. He said that it was just the Celtics playing good offensively. He said they were contesting shots and everything, but the Celtics couldn't keep up that 60% shooting percentage in that first half. Everyone knew that wasn't going to last. And the Bulls just, eventually they went out with talent. They started to play a little bit more defense. And then, like you said, those big three, those guys, they turned it on in the second half, especially Rose in the fourth quarter, just made sure that just kept the foot on the neck of the Celtics, made sure there was no comeback attempt.
Yeah, I mean, Brad Stevens essentially said what you just said, that, I don't know the exact quote, but that the Celtics were not expecting to maintain their pace of play, and Stevens kind of knew if the Bulls kept it going the way that they had it going, that they were going to take this game, and that's exactly what happened. It stayed close. The Bulls' big three that we talked about made sure that it did, and then when it came to crunch time, the Bulls' bench stepped up to start the fourth quarter, and then, Rose, like you said, kind of took it from there and made sure, hey, we're the better team, we're going to get this win, and that's exactly what they did.
I'm so impressed by Pau Gasol still at this stage in his career. I mean, I think it was 2 weeks ago he had a career night. I mean, this guy's having career nights at this stage in his career. That just tells you what a great signing that was for the Bulls. I mean, they already had Noah, they had Gibson, they had these guys that could play position, but they went out there and they got a guy that was, I thought it was kind of an under-the-radar signing at the time. I mean, it was one of the bigger signings yesterday, but I didn't think it got a whole lot of publicity, or as much as it should have. I mean, that's a great signing for them, especially with Noah out now. You have Gasol, you throw Gibson in the starting lineup, and they really didn't skip much of a beat.
Well, right now in his contract, he's arguably the most valuable player in the league per dollar. It's right up there, although Steph Curry, it's hard to argue with that. But, I mean, Gasol's not getting paid that much to be an absolute star, an all-star, maybe even all-star starter right now on this team. I mean, the Bulls, I know that they're not really, they're several games out of the top of the Eastern Conference.
Like 5?
Yeah, but they look
That's
like...
That's because the Hawks are
the Hawks have been incredible.
The Bulls are right there.
I'm still putting my money on the Bulls. I mean, of course, this is when they actually could face each other in the playoffs. And at that point, I definitely will be putting my money on the Bulls. They're doing. It looked like they really figured out how to fit Gasol into that rotation tonight. I mean, the way that he was posting out Tyler Zeller far away from the hoop, and like everybody else was just flooding the lane. He was just dumping passes down to them. I mean, Gasol has it figured out.
That could have been because he was posting up Tyler Zeller. But
and that block on Olynyk was just that was
very rude.
That was lethal.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That could have been because he was blocking Olynyk.
Yeah, right. I mean, he
he played well.
Blocked Olynyk, Olynyk falls to the ground. He just kind of like steps over him. Like doesn't show about too much there, but it was just one of those. It was just like wow, like that. And I think you tweeted like that kind of sums up like the state of these two teams.
Well, because
right
Jimmy
now.
Butler went the other way and scored really nicely on the break.
And that was a good tweet. That kind of I was like, yeah, that's pretty much how this game is going right from this point on. So.
Okay, so we got to talk about Derrick Rose because Derrick Rose was unbelievable.
He was D-Rose tonight.
Yes.
Yep.
And he did it with the 3-point shot, which he doesn't do it that often with. But I think he had 5 threes.
5 for 8.
I mean, that's when he's at his best, when he mixes that 3 in with those knifing moves to the basket that he had plenty of tonight. When he gets those two things going together, that's what allows him to get, he had the 10 assists tonight. That's what allows him to get those assists when he becomes that inside-out player.
That's a good point.
And, the thing is that his finishes around the rim were, it's not like just a guy that's kind of coming back from his injury. That was, oh my God, Derrick Rose from before he got hurt.
He's going under the basket, wrapping it around. I think a couple more on A.B. Bradley. I mean,
Yeah.
A.B. Bradley's no slouch defender. Obviously, he's one of the better on-ball defenders in the league. And D-Rose goes out there and dishes out 10 dimes, no turnovers. And was it 29 points? Yeah, 29 points. So, I mean, this is I would say this had to be one of his better games of the year without seeing all of his games.
He's been a little inconsistent this year.
Right, I know that.
What I love was when he's making those knifing moves, it's like every single step he takes is like kind of like pushing really hard off of his legs to try to change direction on every single step. It's great to see that he's finally back to doing that because that's like the kind of thing that he couldn't do with the injury.
These were the type of games that he consistently had during that MVP season. And one thing going off what you just said, Jared, how hard it seems he's pushing off of his legs and stuff. That's what you want to see out of him with, injuries to both knees. It's worrisome. Some people think the reason that he was getting injured so much is because he's so explosive like that. But on nights like tonight when you see him do it confidently and come out healthy and have the type of game he did tonight, that's flashes of the old Derrick Rose when he won that MVP award.
All right, we're going to go to part 2 now. When we come back, we're going to talk even more about the Bulls, and we're going to have to talk about the Celtics because the Celtics did play in this game as well. I mean, we'll try. We'll try a little bit. And then, of course, Ball and Box, you know how we do. Garden Report part 2 will be right back.
I thought he imposed his physical will on the game. And that's what he does. I mean, he's the reason he is growing in everybody's eyes, in my opinion, or at least the reason he's growing in my eyes is because, yes, his skill's getting better. Yes, he's getting more used to being a guy. Yes, he's, got another year of experience, but he's just physically, he's tough. I mean, he's tough to stop. He's tough to play against offensively. He's just got a lot of stuff to him.